Have you ever wondered how much it would cost you to completely max your account from scratch? That's what we will be covering in this video today, so when you're ready, grab your cup of tea, sit back, relax, and enjoy. To reach max cape, you need to get level 99 in 27 skills. These skills are divided into 4 categories with the exception of the invention skill. I will be covering the skills cost by category. I will then cover the entire cost of maxing your account in an overview, but keep in mind that prices or skills in general, which are either expensive or cheap, may change in the future, meaning that some skills will become more expensive while others will become more accessible and cheap. We are starting off with the combat skills because they aren't really that interesting. You see, most of the combat skills will be free or will make you money because training combat is generally not expensive whatsoever. In fact, you're more likely to make money training combat than to lose money unless you're doing something very expensive like chinning in the abyss, which is generally not really worth it anymore, with all of the great training methods out there that can make you profit while giving you good range experience as well. However, prayer and summoning are 2 very interesting skills because they are very beneficial to your account, especially if you're interested in any high tier PVM. Training prayer with something like dinosaur bones or dragon bones will set you back around 100 million GP levels 1 to 99, which isn't too bad considering the damage boost you get from the torment, anguish, and turmoil prayers or curses, and the benefit of soul split at level 92 prayer. However, this is still a large chunk of money and probably one of the most expensive combat skills right after summoning. Now, summoning is only around 50 million GP. It can cost much and much more depending on what you're training with, but the same can be said for prayer if you're training prayer with something like frost dragon bones. Now, summoning will only cost you 50 million GP if you're doing it through the cheap method, aka making pack yaks to finish your summoning training journey with, which are available after level 96 summoning. Now, the lower levels and mid levels of summoning won't cost you that much even if you're making bad GP per XP pouches, just because the amount of experience you're getting or have to get is very low. If you're doing something like Geyser Titans instead of something like Rune Minotaur pouches and pack yaks, it is going to cost you much more. But generally, summoning really isn't that expensive because you can sell your pouches you make or trade your summoning pouches back in for spirit shards at the 2 NPCs in game. Video to doing that is linked in the description, by the way. Next up, we have the gathering skills, being mining, fishing, woodcutting, farming, hunter, and divination. Now, the funny thing is, most of these skills will be making you money instead of losing you money. Now, it won't be anything extraordinarily good in terms of money making, but it will make you some extra money that can help you out for those expensive other Bible skills coming up soon. For example, with mining, you can mine Anamika ores. For fishing, you can do the fishing frenzy to get some higher tier fish than your fishing level while getting some fishing experience. You could do rocktails. For woodcutting, you can do elder logs. For farming, you can do herb runs or possibly sell your player-owned farm animals. For hunter, you can do big game hunter. And for divination, you can sell your energies that you collect or make divine charges using the vacuum. Now, these skills can cost you a bit of money if you're not making money while training and you're using up a lot of earns for that extra 20% raw experience rate, but farming is the only one in this category that can really cost you a lot of money in case you're doing tree runs, player-owned farms by buying animals, and you're doing something else on the side so that you maximize your farming experience, but then, it's going to cost you. But generally speaking, farming is almost free. Oh boy, the ARTISAN skills. Now these are the expensive buyable skills. Almost all ARTISAN skills are buyables, meaning you're best off training these skills on double experience weekend to minimize loss and maximize experience gain. The first on this list is probably one of the most useful skills in the game, being Herblore. This skill can set you back by a large amount of money if you're making overloads to level 99. Because those potions are actually untradeable. If you just want level 99 Herblore and you just want max cape, you are able to train Herblore for much cheaper, probably 2 to 3 GP per XP, which isn't that bad, which will be 30 to 40 million GP. But generally speaking, Herblore will set you back 50 to 120 million GP if you're training it normally. Now, crafting is probably one of the most expensive skills in Runescape 3. It will cost you anywhere from 30 to 150 million GP. If you want this skill somewhat fast and you hate GE limits, you're going to have to spend at least 100 mil. If you're trading this skill with something like battle staves, you can get it quite cheaply for 30 mil. However, the GE limit for battle staves and powered orbs are very low, so you're going to have a hard time trading this skill for a prolonged period of time unless you've bought your items in advance. The faster and easier methods, being green dragonhide or black dragonhide shields, will set you back that 100 or 150 million GP. If you want more information about training crafting, check out my recently updated crafting guide. Now, fletching is an interesting skill. It can cost you anywhere from 30 million GP or more if you're doing outdated training methods instead of rune arrows, or make you profit if you're going to be fletching bows. But yeah, if you're going to be fletching rune arrows from level 75 to 99 and do just cheaper methods before that, it will only set you back 30 million GP, or half of that if you're training it on double experience weekend. So fletching really isn't that expensive. And if you want to go for a slower and more profitable way of getting to level 99, you can always make those magic shield bows and short bows and get a profit of 25 million GP. Next up, we have smithing. Now, smithing is a very strange skill now because of the rework, and it may seem very new or different to you. That's why I highly recommend you check out my smithing 1 to 99 training guide if you don't know what to do. But smithing will set you back around 60 to 150 million GP. Now that 60 mil is the cheapest you're going to be getting 99 smithing for if you want to train at a moderate experience rate, so making Elder Rune plus 5 plate bodies and selling them on the Grand Exchange. If you want to have even faster experience, you're going to be making those into burial armor, and you're going to be losing the entire plate body, and it will set you back around 150 million GP for level 99. Now these values may vary because, well, the prices again change, and I only sold a few on the Grand Exchange to test the actual loss per plate body. Now for cooking, you're going to be losing, well, just a little bit of money. It will only cost you around 10 to 30 million GP depending on your trading method. If you're doing something expensive like wines, which I highly recommend you do not do, you're going to be losing more than 30 million GP, but generally cooking is very, very cheap. The same can be said for fire making. If you're using something like maple logs, yew logs or magic logs, it's almost going to be 1 to 2 GP per XP. So again, a very cheap and easy skill to get to level 99. And then we come to rune crafting. Now rune crafting is quite interesting because it's either free if you do rune span and the soul altar and stuff and you just make a tiny bit of profit, or if you end up making nature or blood runes at the abyss, can make you up to 200 million GP for level 99. And that's a massive amount of money just to get a skill to level 99. Now of course the skill will be trained slower, but you will be making money, and 200 mil GP, even though it's probably around 2 million GP per hour, crafting runes in the abyss, normal runes that is, no combination runes, that is a lot of money to be getting from a level 99 skill. To put that into perspective, that can get you 99 herblore and crafting, which is 2 very expensive skills ticked off the list if you went for the profitable method. So yeah, that's really good. Now construction is interesting because this skill used to be way more expensive, but because of some reason mahogany planks have just crashed so damn hard that 99 construction is only around 40 to 50 million GP now. And if you do 99 construction double experience weekend, that value, that amount of money is actually halved, so 20 to 25 million GP for 99 construction. That's crazy. So to summarize this section, artisan skills are the most expensive skills to get to level 99 in Runescape 3, however they are a lot cheaper than they used to be. Next up, support skills, being agility, thieving, slayer, and dungeoneering. Now, agility is interesting, not because of the skill, because it's extremely boring, as we all know, but because you can go at it in 3 different ways. You can take the free route, through Priv and such. You can take the profitable route through Anachronia, for example, getting those codex pages for those double surge and double escape codexes and selling those on the Grand Exchange, which will make you some decent money. Or you can spend money to save your life from clicking a boring course over and over by getting Silvox, which will set you back over 100 million GP, and pretty much buy the skill while doing other skills, which is what I did after around level 85 agility or so, just to save myself that time. I think 100 mil plus GP was worth the time saved. Now with the thieving skill you can make some money, around 10 to 30 million GP depending on what you're doing. Both safe cracking and Priv L thieving are profitable, with Priv L thieving being much better GP per hour. Slayer, however, is a very good moneymaker, but only at the high levels. Low level Slayer is barely profitable. 99 Slayer should make you around 50 to 70 million GP. Now these values will vary a lot. It depends on your preferred tasks, your luck, your RNG, and if you're using some expensive gear or not. Because if you're using expensive gear, supplies, and maybe even augmented armor, the initial cost of you doing actual Slayer will cut into your final profits once you subtract the actual supply cost and such from your total profit from those hours of Slayer. So keep that in mind. Use cheap gear for Slayer. And then we have Dungeoneering, finally, the last support skill being pretty much completely free, unless you're buying floors, which I don't recommend you do. Just train the skill normally, or do elite dungeons. Now, Invention is an interesting skill. The training methods themselves are very interesting, and there are various ways of getting to level 99 Invention, which is 36 million XP by the way, because it's an elite skill. Invention requires you to have level 80 smithing, divination, and crafting to start training it. I highly suggest you check out my Invention guide before starting with Invention because it's a very complex skill. However, you're here for the cost of Invention to get it to level 99. Now Invention, if you're doing the augmented method, counting in the augmenters and some cheap gear you're going to be disassembling for experience at level 10, it's going to set you back around 75 million GP or more. If you're siphoning, which could be weapons, armor, or skilling devices, it will set you back 15 to 20 million GP, because the only cost you'll have is for the siphons to siphon the experience from your weapons, armor, or tools at level 12, and the divine charges you're going to be using. But if you're taking the skilling method, you'll barely be using any divine charge whatsoever. So Invention could be cheap, could be expensive. It depends on how you train it, but generally speaking, to make augmenters yourself and gathering components for perks and stuff, it's going to be a skill that you're going to be dumping a lot of money in. Now let's move on to the total cost of maxing in an overview. So for maxing, expect to spend at least 150 million GP on the combat skills. Expect to spend around nothing for the gathering skills. Then expect to spend at least 300 mil on the artisan skills. Then with the support skills, expect to make around 65 million GP off of all of those. And with Invention, expect to lose at least 20 million GP. So what's the minimum cost of maxing as of right now? If you're doing it somewhat efficiently, well, that's 405 million GP. And to be honest, that amount is lower than I actually expected. This is taking into account that you can save money using the support skills and such. So expect to spend around 400 to 500 mil on maxing your account. So half a bill for getting level 99 in every single skill in the game. Doesn't sound that bad, but it's still a large chunk of money. And with that being said, we have answered the question and fulfilled the purpose of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, leave a like down below and maybe even consider subscribing. And if you're interested in finding out how long it actually takes to max, check out my video on that as well, linked in the description below. And I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.